Oh,
hello, party people.
Hello, everybody. and welcome to the Barely There podcast. We are 4-Star Chicago Sports, and we got a monster show for you tonight. We're going to jump into everything that's going on in the NFC, the new look Chicago Bears, and this new culture that they're creating on the Lakefront. Well, we had a rocky beginning, but the Bears didn't have a rocky beginning to free agency. So as they cleaned it up, we'll clean it up too. Welcome to the show, everybody. As I said, this is the Barely There podcast. I'm 4-Star Chicago Sports. I got my boy Jason in the house. I got my boy Kyle in the house, per usual. What's going on, fellas? How we feeling this Wednesday?
I'm feeling great, man. We just watched some pressers, me and Kyle here today. There's not a lot of moves going on, but a lot of good news from the Bears. I think the interviews felt pretty good. What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, man, goosebumps. I agree. Grady Jarrett has me ready for football, man. I can't wait. I am so excited for this season. This might be the most excited I've been for a Bears season in 10, 15 years. Real quick, what's up, Daniel Jeffries? What's up, Breaking News, Bruce? Appreciate you guys joining the chat. Sean, what do you got for us, man?
Yeah, man. We want to talk a little bit about what's next for the Bears and this culture change. The Bears made several moves in the last couple of weeks here to strengthen their roster and improve the team's culture, particularly with the addition of the veterans like Joe Thuney and Grady Jarrett, the aforementioned Grady Jarrett, These players bring some experience and a winning mentality, which can significantly influence this locker room and the dynamics of the overall team culture. When players of this caliber express the desire to join the Bears, and this is something I really wanted to talk about, it often does indicate that there's a positive shift in the organization's reputation and environment. Factors such as strong coaching, a clear vision for the future, and the team's commitment to building a competitive roster can contribute to the shift. Boys, we've heard over the past couple of days that Drew Dalman turned down more money to come to Chicago. Grady Jarrett was over the moon when his phone rang right away, and it was the Chicago Bears on the other line. I just want to get your guys' perspective because in my eyes, it does seem like the culture is changing on the Lakefront. Kyle, I know you really are excited about this culture change, so tell me exactly what you feel is happening on the Lakefront and kick us off.
Yeah, Sean, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, the only way you can change your culture is with W's, right? The Bears have to eventually start winning games for them to prove to their fan base that they have changed the culture in Chicago. But you got to start somewhere. I don't think it's something you could do overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. This is a multi-billion-dollar organization with a lot of employees. This is something that takes a long time. But I do believe that the Bears have got the ball rolling here. I mean, like you said, Sean, now you have these major free agents who are their desired destination is Chicago on the Lakefront here. You have 2 or 3 guys in free agency now that we've heard took less money to come to the Chicago Bears. And I think it all starts with Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles. I mean, I know a lot of Bears fans gave a lot of scrutiny to those 2 guys over the last few years. But like I said, man, I've been preaching this since day one, guys. Patience is a virtue. This is not something that happens overnight. I think Ryan Poles, Sean, like you talked about many a time on the show, is learning on the job. He's a young GM. He's obviously getting better every day. I don't understand how Bears fans could be upset with him in any way, shape, or form. We talked about all at the end of the season, all throughout the season, how the Bears' weakest link was their offensive and defensive line. The Bears brass obviously recognized that, and they addressed it. I mean, you can't fix all your holes in one offseason. You can't fix all your holes in one free agency, but it's a damn good start, guys. Damn good start.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, going from Sam Mustipher, the remains of a washed-up Cody Whitehair, to Coleman Shelton, we finally have a big-time center, Drew Dalman, in the line, and the rebuild. We always thought would take a gradual process, raising the floor and creating a more competitive foundation, was the key, it was the key and something that we've always talked about and something that, hasn't really happened, or we didn't see, I should say, happening under Ryan Pace. Or Ryan Poles, excuse me. We certainly didn't see it under Ryan Pace. But now we kind of flipped this culture. It seems like he's flipped this culture. He identified some leaders. And as we talked about a little bit on Monday, it's what he's doing is stabilizing the roster now, and I expect to get into this draft, get some of these young kids that are going to come in behind these veterans, learn, and continue this winning culture in Chicago. Jay, what are your thoughts about what's happened here over the last couple of days, my friend?
Well, you hope that the culture has changed. I don't know that it can change in 1 year, but I guess it's possible. You get rid of a lot of the bad apples. You bring in coaches and leadership that can say, hey, look, this is how we're going to do things. I think after hearing those pressers, I think we've got guys that are leaders, which is, I believe, one of the main reasons they chose the guys that they chose. They also chose them pretty quickly, which means they were probably eyeballing these guys for a while. There's one of them right there. His press conference, man, his laugh was like authoritative. A little scared at his laugh, like, oh God, okay, all right. But you're right. Winning culture is great, but it means nothing if you're not winning, because if you keep losing, the culture is going to collapse on you. It just is. These guys are competitive. They're born to win. Most of them, if not all of them, probably won all the way up until their college career, if not through their college career. So you got to win. The next step is obviously the draft. Let's build some more culture. Let's get some young guys in here. But it all comes down to the field. In between those lines, can we win football games? And I will tell you what, I got a little something here that really kind of made me happy that I pulled from the Amon Ra podcast. This is what he said. I feel like the Bears have unlimited fucking money. This shit is crazy. They're just signing new shit for like 40 to 50 million. Joe Thuney, boom. Jonah Jackson, bang. Drew Dahlman, bang. Dio Adebango, another crazy amount of money. Grady Jarrett, bang. They're just breaking everybody off. They have unlimited money. What the fuck is this? Ben is just making moves left and right. That's the type of thing I want to hear when I'm a Bears fan from another team. The exact thing I want to hear.
Especially a division rival.
Yeah, maybe the best team in the division.
I'll tell you this, man. You guys, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Kyle knows this. Maybe you know this too, Jay. I absolutely love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's a great dude.
He's a good dude. I wish he was a Bear. Yeah.
He's a really good football player. His podcast is awesome. I would suggest everyone to go check it out. He always has awesome guests on there. They're always
Bear Equinanius is on there too, his brother.
He's just a trip, man. The dude is a straight up trip. His podcast is awesome. He had Caleb Williams on during the season. That was really awesome. So go check it out. Kyle, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Amon-Ra St. Brown is just great for the NFL, man. He's one of those guys that seems to be a genuinely good human being. He's not one of these guys, this is a guy who's got his own podcast now. People go watch it, listen. A guy who seems to be a pretty good role model for young kids watching the NFL. I mean, obviously his podcast has some language in it, but he's not getting arrested for domestic violence, domestic abuse, DUI, anything like that. I think I love, especially when Caleb Williams is on his podcast, the banter, they go back and forth. I love it. You can see the competitiveness. I think he's great for the NFL in every way, shape, or form. I love this comment right here, real quick, guys. Erica says, Darnell Wright and Jonah Jackson could be twins. They do look very similar. They do. They both have very wide faces with the beard. They do look very similar to me. And then Foster, first of all, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Daniel, Erica, Breaking News, Bruce, Foster. Who I know I'm James. I'm missing James there. Elizabeth. Appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you so much for being part of the show here. And then Foster says, draft replacements now. People are saying O-line is complete. I'd hate it to be Halloween and all of a sudden we need a right guard. I wouldn't mind having Booker on the bench or someone who is looks like it goes on in the next one here. A pick because he's going to replace Jonah John. The only thing I'd say about Booker, guys, is Sean and I actually had this conversation the other day. If you're going to draft a guard, I'm fine with them drafting a guard. I'm fine with the Bears drafting depth, especially at the offensive line, because they said, Ben Johnson himself said, we're going to go into the season with 9 or 10 guys. Right now, they still only have 6, 7. So they're going to add a couple more guys for sure. I just wouldn't do it in the first round unless it's a left tackle who's going to replace Braxton Jones. The reason being is because this team, I think, is capable of competing in the NFC right now. And you want your first round pick to be a guy who's playing every down and can contribute to winning games now.
I agree. That 10 pick should be the best available player.
Yeah, you don't want a guy, nothing against Booker because I love him. I think he's going to be good in the NFL, but you don't want a guy who you're going to draft and then sit on the bench for a couple of years. You can use those third, fourth, fifth, sixth round, those middle round picks for those guys for sure, no doubt about it. But guys in the first 2 rounds, most of them should be making an impact on this team day or week in and week out. They should be seeing the field week in and week out. And Booker, if you draft him and nobody does get hurt, he's just not going to see the field this season. So it'd be kind of a waste of a first round pick for me. But I do agree with you, Foster. I don't think this O-line is complete. I think you should never leave any stone unturned. I think the Bears do believe they can upgrade at the left tackle position. And I think if they trade back to 18, 19, 20, somewhere in that range, and a guy like Joshua Simmons out of Ohio State is still sitting there, don't be surprised at all if the Bears decide to take a chance on him. Like I've heard people say, well, at 10, it's too much of a risk because of the injury that Joshua Simmons suffered last year. But when you're talking about trading back to 18, 19, accumulating more draft capital, and then all of a sudden what should have been the best left tackle in the draft is still sitting there at 20 because of injury woes, that may be the steal of the draft. That could very well be the steal of the draft.
Did the Bears ever meet with him or anything? I don't think they did.
They met with him. They went to his pro
day.
Yeah,
okay,
they went to.
That's
they
what
have
they're
talked.
going to find out.
I know they've talked to him for sure, but I don't. They have not scheduled a top 30 visit with Joshua Simmons, but they have talked to him.
Listen, we've seen guys drop out of the first round because of an injury concern or because of a personality concern or whatever it is. So it's possible. And if it does, that could be into the Bears' benefit.
I will say this to Foster Cover's point here. If we do trade back and you do get a Tyler Booker or the Bears decide to go that route, I wouldn't be insanely upset because the guy is a monster. I understand we don't want to use our first round pick on a guy who's going to sit there and on the bench. But you got to remember, Jackson's here for 1 year, and if he doesn't work out, some of his injuries or just some of his woes return that he's had over the past couple of years, you have his replacement here, and you don't have to draft him because let's just say the Bears have made some strides in the area of rebuilding this offensive line, coaching, but they still have to make some strides in roster depth, quarterback development, which we hopefully will get with this new staff, just to give them a better shot at some sustained success. Say that fast 5 times. I really don't care personally, and I know some people do. I really don't care. I want to see this line get some continuity and be able to be built strong for a long time. I said it on Monday. This is more of a Band-Aid than a overall long-term fix. So wherever you get these guys, and even if you passed up on a Booker and you ended up with a Donovan Jackson, say in the early second round, who's going to sit on the bench for a year, I do think, and I know we talked about roster flexibility, I still think you have to really consider taking 1 or 2 linemen out of this draft.
I think 3.
Yeah, I agree. I just wouldn't take them in the first round. And people could say that about anything. People could be like, "Oh, if Jonah Jackson gets hurt, then we don't have anything. We should have drafted Booker." Yeah, well, guys, if DeAndre Swift gets hurt, then we should have drafted Ashton Gianti, right? I mean, you never know what's going to happen with injuries. I do think the Bears should continue to address the offensive line. I just think your first round pick, if you think you honestly believe you are a team that can compete this year for even making like an NFC Championship game, like the Washington Commanders did last year, which they had no business being in. If you think you're capable of making that leap, then you should be getting a guy who contributes to this team and contributes to winning games week 1 of the 2025 season. And I think there's a lot of those guys in this draft, particularly at defensive end and running back.
And I 100%, I feel that point. I'm just saying, I see both sides to this, especially if we're talking about the guy that the Bears want isn't there at 10 and they wind up pulling back or trading back to 20 or – maybe, when I've been doing these mocks, the latest I would go back would be 20. That's just me, and every time I did that, I've taken Joshua Simmons. I'm going to be honest.
And if you did say you did draft a guy like Tyler Booker at 18, 19, 20, for me personally, guys, he's your starter. Jonah Jackson is your backup. I mean, if this is a guy who's going to be the anchor of the right guard position for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, for me personally, guys, he's a first round pick. The first round pick is a guy who should be starting on the field immediately, except for maybe excluding quarterbacks. Besides that, most of these guys drafted in the first round are expected to start for their team immediately. Very rarely do you see a team draft a guy in the first round and be like, hey, sit on the bench for a couple of years and learn, unless you're talking once again about quarterbacks. But if that was the case and they did draft Booker, I would start Booker and I'd put Jonah Jackson on the bench. But it's going to be a very interesting draft for the Chicago Bears, guys. It's going to be now they have basically given themselves with these moves in the last couple of days the flexibility to do whatever they feel necessary. If the Bears have a list of top 10 remaining at 10, like after the first 9 guys are off the board and they have their top 10 remaining, They could literally close their eyes and point and get somebody who could contribute to winning the games for this team right now.
And I do think that's going to be important as we move on in this show. We're going to go over some of these moves that were made by some of the competitors in the NFC, not only North, but the entire NFC, because some intriguing moves were made that, kind of makes me think, man, maybe the Bears are still a couple steps behind. But again, I think if you shore up the middle, like they did with Grady Jarrett, and maybe you draft a guy like a Derek Harmon or a Malik Williams, or Tyleek.
Sean, not to cut you off, but if just out of I'd like to know from you personally, what do you think the biggest holes are remaining on the Bears roster after this last few days of free agency?
I still think you need a third receiver. I mean, unless you're banking on Tyler Scott, and I still think you need a big time defensive edge that can come off and create some havoc. And I still think even with Grady Jarrett, I still think you're a little short at the defensive tackle position, whether it's a 1T or a 3T. I still think you're short there. I like where they are. I like where they are, but I would like two young dynamos at the edge and in the middle to get into that rotation right now. Because, I mean, even with Grady Jarrett, he's 31. He hasn't missed a lot of games in his career, but if he goes down, you're looking at a big hole again. So, I mean, we all know we're not sold on Pickens. I mean, that guy hasn't – maybe new coaching staff will help him.
Pickens might be cut by the time they make this 53-man roster.
That brings you – and here, I mean, let me ask you guys, do you have a lot of faith in Chris Williams? I know they re-upped him, but he had some plays, but I'm not like, ooh, Chris Williams is saying we might get a sack here.
I agree with you. I think they're still short at defensive tackle. There's certainly no doubt short at defensive end. They're still short at left tackle. They're still short at the guard position because they don't have much depth. There's still one running back short, no doubt about that, right, guys? We know the style of offense that Ben Johnson likes. They need that big bruising running back. They're still short at safety, considering that Jaquan Brisker has now suffered through 5 concussions since starting college football. I mean, there are still plenty of holes in this roster. Luckily for the Bears, they have 6 draft picks and still have a little bit of flexibility in free agency as well.
I have to agree. I think defensive tackle and if you're going to go at 10, I think the best pick, if you're going to go flashy guy, you could probably take a running back. I don't know if it's as serious of a need. When I'm thinking of the future of the Bears with such a heavy defensive draft, I think edge rusher, if you can get a really stud there, or a defensive tackle, that's what you want. Number one, defensive tackle, and really even the edge rushers. There's so much strength and effort and push involved. You have to rotate those guys. They can't play every down. It's just not possible, especially somebody big in the middle. That's why you need like 4 defensive tackles. You really do. You're only going to start 2, but the way they play defense and the way Allen plays defense, you might have 3 defensive tackles in there and 1, edge rusher. And that edge rusher could change. The tackles can change. Now, I'd love to see, I was saying earlier, I'd love to see at least 3 linemen, and I don't care what the configuration is, 2 offense, 1 defense. I'd like to see maybe 2 defense and 1 offense. I think a guard is the way to go on offense. And then, if you go 1 and then the 2 picks in the second round and you've got those 3 linemen, hey, man, I think you could do whatever you want after that. Go nuts.
Yeah,
and you might find somebody in that 3rd round, even the 5th round, that could be very, very good.
I agree, Jason. I mean, the Bears went from, if they had not made these moves in free agency or even the moves, the trades they made, they were probably going to be forced into a position where they were going to have to draft based off position of need. They can now draft best available player at every single pick if they choose to do so.
Yeah. Here, I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest, and I love Foster Covers and what he's saying here. And for me, I would like to trade back. You can't convince me that you don't want a highly rated left tackle at prospect. Maybe if you move back from 10, or if Joshua Simmons' medicals work out fine and he's good to go, and he's going to be good for camp. You have the thing here. Here's the big thing. At the end of this season, you're going to have to make a move at that position. You're either re-signing Braxton Jones for 20+ a year, or you're starting a rookie left tackle next year. If you get a guy in here who learns the system, like a Joshua Simmons, who in my opinion is the best pure left tackle in this draft, He'll have a year to develop under the system. He's a tremendous upgrade from Braxton Jones, and we reset the left tackle contract, which, I mean, that's an absolute cheat code in the NFL right there, because guess what? You're going to have to pay this guy over $150 million, a top quality left tackle. I mean, even more than that, the way prices are going up. I want Joshua Simmons. I mean, I guess if Kelvin Banks is that guy, I'd be okay with that. I just don't know if the Bears wind up and have the season we think that they can have with 10 or 11 wins. We're going to be in a position to draft the top left tackle in the draft next year. I mean, the objective here is to win, be competitive, and not draft in the top 10. And if you're doing that and you pass up on it this year, you might not have the opportunity next year. And that's just where I am. And I'm with Foster Covers all day. Trade back. Draft Joshua Simmons for everything I just said. He's clearly an upgrade. And I'll be honest, and Kyle, you know this, Jay, you know this too. If this dude didn't get hurt, he probably doesn't make it out of the top 5 in this NFL draft.
Yeah.
Sean, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. You've heard me say I'm the one who's been. You guys know that you guys are probably got sick of me saying offensive line for the last 6 months. I know people, some of my friends and family have gotten sick of me talking about the offensive line. But Sean, I just said it. Leave no stone unturned, man. If you go complete the task, right? You just replaced 3 of the 5 positions of the offensive line. Go get the last one. Go get Joshua Simmons. Lock down that left tackle. Like you said, Sean, you got him on a rookie deal with a first round pick, so he gets that 5th year option, which for a left tackle is great because it's one of the most expensive positions in the NFL. If the Bears say we traded back to 20 and the 20th pick, the Bears draft Joshua Simmons out of Ohio State, you're not going to see me complain or whine or cry about it. I would be ecstatic. I also would be upset at all if they decide to go a different direction, like get a really good defensive end who's going to be here for the next 10 years, another very expensive position in free agency, and then have to try to figure out the left tackle position later. But yeah, Sean, I wouldn't be upset at all. I mean, I agree with you. At some point, that left tackle position needs to be upgraded. Although Ben Johnson in his presser today did mention how much he likes Braxton Jones. So.
He did. And I will tell you this, all the contracts they signed are pretty much for 3 years, and you've got 1 tackle leaving next year. So that kind of shows you that they're putting trust in these guys, but not a whole lot of trust into them. So I would imagine that the philosophy and strategy is we're going to be drafting some offensive linemen here, because it probably does take 2 or 3 years to really train those guys and get them to where you want to be.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily lack of trust with those 3-year contracts. Caleb Williams in 3 years is going to be owed probably $500 million. That's probably the reason they're trying to get all that money off of the books.
Two guys, they asked Joe Thuney today about if the Bears have talked to him about an extension. He said he hasn't heard anything from anybody about anything. Now, I do expect them to work out some extension, but to this point, it's mum's the word on an extension for Thuney. So
I think they would, just to really help restructure the cap and get maybe a little bit of more room and just get things going. And look, it's Thuney. Unless he's hurt, you know what you're going to get out of him. He's not going to be bad.
And James, are you saying you got Pierce, Shamar, Deion Walker, Caleb Johnson, Jalen Noel? Those are just the guys you want through the draft? The Bears, you want to end up with a couple of these guys through the draft? Who's your number 1 pick, James?
Yeah, real quick to James. 10 or 20? James, we love you, and this is no disrespect in any way, shape, or form, but I know James earlier in here said he'd like to see them move Thuney to left tackle. I don't think the Bears should mess with Thuney in any way, shape. I think he is general consensus one of the best guards in the NFL, if maybe not even the best left guard in the NFL. He's been so good there for so long. I think it's the safe bet for the Bears just to keep him there at left guard and go try to find a tackle elsewhere. I do like the creativity, James. I do, and I'm even open to maybe the Bears drafting left tackle and moving Braxton Jones to be a backup guard to Thuney and to Jones or to Jackson. But I like Thuney exactly where he's at, man. I think he's just too good to start moving around at this point in his career.
Now, I wanted to get your guys, because I know it's up and down with Deo and his contract, but we all know he got a 3-year, $32 million guarantee contract, $13.5 million signing bonus, the base salary of $3 million, $25 million guaranteed this year, 15.5, 26 fully guaranteed on the 3rd day of the league year next year, and 27, $13.5 million, $500K for workouts. Also $1 million roster bonus on the 5th day of the 2027 league year. The way I interpreted this contract is next year, before the 3rd day, and someone please correct me if I'm wrong on this, before the third business day of the year, the Bears can cut him, have a cap hit of it's somewhere in between $8 to $9 million. And going into the following season, it states again, his contract re-ups the third day of the league year, which I believe also means he can be cut within 3 days of the league year, and that would only be a cap hit of $4.5 million. So when you fully look at this contract, it's not as bad as everyone thinks that we overpaid him and this guy is getting a lot of money. Now, if I interpreted it wrong, you guys please tell me, but that's the way I'm reading it. You can cut the guy before his contract is up, take your cap hit in the second and third year of this deal. So if he doesn't work out, he's not the player the Bears think. I think they can save themselves a lot of money in this deal.
Well, that would be another tarnish on Ryan Poles' reputation. If the Bears are even thinking about cutting this guy in his second year with the Chicago Bears, then it wasn't a good signing. But yeah, Sean, you're 100% right. I mean, that's pretty much exactly how the contract works. That's pretty much how it works with everybody within the third day of the new year. I mean, it's basically how it works. Now, there's a lot of we watched the video. For everybody out there, if you guys haven't had a chance, go listen to, it's called Salary Cap 101, and it's what's his name? Andrew Brandt. If you guys haven't listened to it, he talks a lot about cash over cap, the fact that these teams are allowed to use cash in order to surpass that soft salary cap the NFL has in place. The richer the owner, the more willing he is to spend his own money on the team, the more money they're allowed to spend. It's not an even salary cap like most people think. Some teams do go over the cap. Some teams do spend a lot more than others. Go check it out. But yeah, there's just so many stipulations in these contracts. NFL contracts might be the most confusing contract of any business in the entire planet, man. There's so much stuff going on in there. And you guys listen to him. Andrew Brandt is an ex-NFL GM. He's an not GM, executive. He's an ex-NFL agent, and he's a lawyer, so he knows what he's talking about. A lot of the stuff gets very confusing, but basically cash over cap. These teams are allowed to spend as much cash as they want on these players. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Sean, I mean, the move is very confusing to me because there's so many Bears fans who love Dio, right? Dio, they love this guy, but it's the same Bears fans. Yeah, and it's the same, not you, Sean, but it's some of the same Bears fans who I hear complaining about Montez Sweat and his 6 sacks. This guy is listed as a defensive end. He had 3.5 sacks, and people are praising him like he's the greatest player in football. The Bears are clearly made this signing on projections and potential, guys. That's what this signing was made for. They expect him to become an 8 to 12 sack type player. That's what they're expecting from him. No doubt in my mind. They also like the fact that he's versatile, like Jason talks about a lot. The Bears want guys who can play in different spots in the line. You can move them in, you can move them out, you can stunt them. That's the type of player he is. But man, if they're even thinking about cutting him after year one, that would be a terrible signing for Ryan Poles. Terrible.
That's a little Deo. It's one of his best games last year. He absolutely destroyed Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. And I forgot the stats, but I think he had like 2.5 sacks, like 5 pressures. I mean, he just destroyed this game. You know what? I said it on Monday, and I truly believe that he's a young ascending player. And I do think with this new coaching staff, they will get some more out of him. I really, really do. I believe that wholeheartedly. And, for me, I like the signing. I don't think they overpaid because you look at the rest of the league and what they're getting, what the league's getting. And Foster Covers just put it out here. Look at what Will Fry's got. Dustin astutely pointed this out on Monday, what Poles did in these trades and how much money he actually saved by not waiting for the free agent class and going after frees. He's paying less than all these other guys are signing in contract deals right now. So you got to tip your cap again. The one thing we've always said, Poles is really good with that dollar. And, he did it again. And again, we talked about this on Monday as well. These contracts are short, doesn't handicap you long-term. And as Kyle pointed out, they all kind of end up right where we have to pony up some big dough for number 13.
Oh yeah. You guys, the year that Caleb Williams is going to be due his extension, the Bears salary goes from like $25 million in available cap space to that year that we're about to pay Caleb Williams. It goes right back up to like $90 million where we were at the beginning, 2 years ago. I mean, they clearly are planning the future to sign Caleb Williams to a long-term extension. I just don't know. Here's the problem. Not only do you not know how good Caleb Williams is going to be, so you don't know how much he's worth. But on top of that, like we talk about all the time, guys, right? These contract expectations, this new bar is set every single year is higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
God, I can't imagine what Caleb Williams is going to be owed in 2027, 2028 if he's a really good quarterback. I mean, it's going to be
They
like
might sign him earlier.
$500 million, guys.
Yeah,
They might sign him earlier just to avoid it going even
I think
higher.
they should, Jason.
Yeah.
I think that would be my if he plays well this year and the Bears are like, this is our guy, he's the quarterback of the future. We're not
Sign him
changing.
now. Do it now.
Sign him at the end of next year, the 2025 season. I extend him right then because he's only getting more expensive. He's only going to get more expensive every year than the NFL. I mean, look at you guys. The NFL salary cap since 2017 has gone up over $100 million. These guys are about to be getting baseball Ohtani type money. That is coming to the NFL within the next 10 years. No doubt in my mind.
And to circle back on Dale, I think the key thing is the stat you really want to look at is not the sacks, guys. It's the pressures.
Yeah.
He is a pressure stud. Now, that's why Sean says, I think with the right coaching, maybe he can get there. That's what he's saying. Hey, we're going to get that pressure into a hit or into a sack. And Jarrett or Grady Jarrett mentioned it. He's like, look, I was a lead in hits. I wasn't lead in sacks, but I was a lead in hits and QB hits. That's
franchise
important.
leader, yeah.
It throws the whole playoff. That means your
Jake,
awesome secondary can get an interception. That means your linebackers can come in and hit a running back that has the short screen. It throws everything off, and I know you guys know that because you watch the Bears play offense forever, and that's what they do to us. So,
well, Jason, you say right after that, he said, there are guys in the NFL who have 10 QB hurries on the year and 6 sacks, and there's guys who have 50 QB hurries and have 1 sack because that's just the way the game plays out. He's like, the goal is to upset the timing of the offense, throw off the timing of the offense. It doesn't have to be sacks. Not to mention when you push him back. Grady Jarrett says when we push him back, if we can create some leverage inside on that offensive or against the offensive line, those defensive ends in theory should come around and finish the job. That's the goal. We don't have to get the sack on every play. That's not our job. But yeah, I like how when they said, you have 36.5 sacks in your career, that's nothing to be ashamed of. He's like, yeah, and the most hurries of any defensive tackle ever.
Most hits of any tackle. Yeah, I'll just throw that in there
immediately. Like, whoa.
Too, and as the Bears are doing these moves, and we're all very excited, and as we should be, because these are the moves we wanted them to make, and we've been begging for a couple of years, especially not having a center since Olin Kreutz has been here has been a really big detriment to the Chicago Bears. But some other teams in the NFC, especially a team in our division, has made some noise here in this offseason. And, between Washington and Minnesota, and before I get into Washington really quick, we had this discussion the other day, Kyle, and I'd like to get Jason's opinion on this. And then Kyle, obviously clap back on it. The Minnesota Vikings have re-signed Byron Murphy, Aaron Jones, Theo Jackson, Ryan Wright, their punter, but they beefed up those lines. They got Fries 5 years, $88 million, Allen 3 years, $60 million, Hargrove 2 years, $30 million, which honestly kind of a waste of money if you go look at his numbers because they are god awful. Ryan Kelly 2 years, $18 million, and then they signed Isaiah Rodgers 2 years, $15 million, and then they just actually signed, and I'm not sure who this guy is because I've never heard of him, to Tavaria Thomas. He's a defensive back. They just signed him. When you look at what the Bears did, and you look at what the Vikings did, what's the one thing the Vikings are missing?
Quarterback.
Yep. But if they find that quarterback this offseason, who's going to have the better year? Do the Queens make that push?
Sean,
I mean, they did have 14 wins last year.
Sean, you excluding the quarterback, which is obviously a huge deal because right now Caleb Williams makes the Bears roster better than the Vikings, considering just because they don't have a quarterback. But if they do find a quarterback or JJ McCarthy ends up being very good in the NFL, they have a better roster than the Chicago. I mean, guys, they have Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. I mean, the Vikings have one of the best rosters in the NFL, and that's why they were capable of winning the double-digit games last year with Sam Darnold at quarterback. They have one of the best coaches, They have one of the best rosters in the NFL. They're a very smart organization. They're a very good team. I don't expect that. The only way the Vikings take a step back is if they don't address that quarterback position. They end up with something like, I don't know, you name one, any of these garbage quarterbacks that are playing in the NFL right now.
Well,
They end up something like that.
I'll give you two scenarios because Dustin just stole the words right out of my mouth. I did hear that the Vikings are still in play for Rodgers, but
that could hurt. That could be a problem.
Well, I also hate that I got to say this because I really do love Kevin O'Connell. I think he's such a great football coach and a great football mind. What he did with Sam Darnold, is it impossible to think that he could design an offense that would make J.J. McCarthy effective, especially with that short game with the running back? And really, all you got to do is get the ball around Justin Jefferson. Let's be honest.
Right.
So, I mean, is it possible, guys?
I would say this. I first of all, we were just talking about it the other night. I think McCarthy maybe have had a setback or something. I think their intention is to start him. He is their quarterback. As long as he's healthy, he's going to start. That's why they drafted him. That's why they let Sam Darnold go. The other thing that I noticed is they did sign some key players, but like Will Freeze, that's a 5-year contract for $80 million. Maybe a little too big of a contract for a guy like that. They might have been stretching a little bit, and that might mean that we can't sign some other dudes. Now, they have some big names on their roster already. The Hargrave signing and the Jonathan Allen signing says a lot to me more than anything else. They're trying to focus on defense. They think their offense is just fine, right? They think they need better defense because – I mean, I don't know. Their last playoff game, they probably need a better offensive line, which is why they signed Freeze. But there was a lot of interceptions.
They signed the two of the top 5 offensive linemen available, Kelly and Freeze. That's a big deal.
It is.
I'm on the Dustin train here. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think J.J. McCarthy blows. I don't think he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. He was handcuffed in games where Harbaugh wouldn't even let him throw the damn ball in college. And now
he's threw it like 10 times in the national championship.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but Sean, like you just said, I mean, if before going into last season, we all sat here and we're like, who sucks? Sam Darnold. That guy sucks. Awful. Shouldn't be in the NFL. Even when he was playing for Kyle Shanahan didn't let him throw the ball. He throw the ball 10 times in his last game there. Kyle Shanahan couldn't wait to get him out of San Fran quick enough. He goes to Minnesota and throws 36 touchdowns and 10 picks. Listen, is JJ McCarthy Tom Brady? Absolutely not. Can he make JJ McCarthy look better than he probably usually does? Can he make JJ McCarthy meet his potential, max out his potential? Probably. He might be the best offensive coach in the NFL. There's a very good chance that happens. I just think ultimately, at the end of the day, Super Bowls are won by really good quarterback play, and I think Caleb Williams is still going to be the best quarterback in the NFC North at some point in his career, if not this season. So
I was going to say that's not a high bar because he might be better than Jared Goff right now. He's definitely better than J.J. McCarthy. And who's the other guy? Yeah,
Jordan.
Loser. Yeah.
Sean, what's funny is how Grady Jarrett referred to the Packers today in his press conference.
Yeah. Hold on. What did he say?
He said that other team.
That's right. And he also did this.
He wouldn't say the Packers.
Well, you better pipe down a little. Let's go. You better pipe down a little. I just got to get to him. When I get there, I'm gonna be.
Just for the record, it's pipe down, little bitch, is what he was saying.
Yeah, I think they got it. Jason. Yeah, Sean, they definitely listen, you can't take anything away from the Vikings. They had a tremendous offseason. I think they're one of the top 3 teams in free agency this year. I think they were one of the best off seasons, excluding the draft. Obviously, we're going to see what happens then. But yeah, they definitely killed it over the last few days. It sucks to be a Bears fan and see that. And you know what? Who else didn't do really bad? I know the Lions only signed that one player, DJ Reed, but that was the best available corner in free agency. The Lions secondary was their downfall last year. They went and got the best corner available. And not only did they get the best corner available, Sean, but they gave him 3-year, $48 million deal.
It was a really good deal, man.
Yeah, and there was other guys who Carlton Davis got 3 years, $60 million. Carlton Davis doesn't belong in the NFL. Doesn't belong in the NFL. He should not be playing in the NFL. I mean, the Lions got a steal. For a fact, guys, that Reed went there on a discount because he wants to win a championship. That's why he went to the Detroit Lions. He wants to win a championship.
Thanks, Dustin.
He knows he could have got more money than that. That's ridiculous.
What up, Ron?
There's two other teams that I wanted to talk about really quick, and one is they're both NFC teams.
Oh, Dustin, stick around.
Yeah, Dustin, stick around because I'm gonna love your comments right after we break down. You know what, Dustin? I don't know if you got something to do, so we'll go here first. We'll get back to the Redskins, or excuse me, the
Commanders.
The Commanders, or whatever. I will never call them the Commanders. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't. So,
Sean, I think we've accepted that.
Well, the dilemma in the Bay. They traded Debo, cut Kyle Juszczyk, Floyd, Hargrove, Malik Collins, left in free agency, Greenlaw, Ward, Ufanga, Banks, Jalen Moore, Elijah Mitchell, Josh Dobbs, probably not a big deal. But I do have to say, I still think the offense is quality because what is left there is Purdy, McCaffrey, Mason, Kittle, Ayuk, Jennings, Pearsall.
Sean, here you go. Here's Dustin's immediate response to your list.
And you know what? They still have Bosa as an edge, who's not half bad, right? So they still have room to grow, and they develop talent. They're also coached very, very well, and their management is very, very good at choosing talent, right? Most of those guys have all been drafted, except for McCaffrey, really, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people keep talking about Deebo Samuel. First of all, you guys, Deebo Samuel can't stay healthy. Second of all, he was making way too much money. And lastly, I think people are severely underestimating what Ricky Pearsall is going to do for that team.
I agree.
That guy is going to be a very good player in the NFL at some point. Listen, I know he got shot last year. That's out of the norm. That doesn't happen very often. Unfortunately, probably more often than it should. But the guy got shot in the chest and was playing football 4 months later. I mean, he's going to be a very good player for the Niners. The Niners are going to figure it out, Sean. I'm not saying that the Niners didn't have a bad offseason because they have. So far, it has not been a good offseason for the San Francisco 49ers. But that is one team that I have faith in. You got John Lynch there. They got Kyle Shanahan. They're going to go pick some guy with the last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, and he's going to be the best defensive end in football for the next 13 years. That's just the Niners, man. They're very smart. They run their organization.
They know what they're doing, man.
That is a winning culture. That's a winning culture. That's where you can go get a guy like Brock Purdy, and he can make a Pro Bowl in his first rookie season. That is a winning culture.
Dustin's pointing out here they have the most compensatory picks in the league, and they have multiple picks in rounds 3 through 5. So you trust in this organization. I'm just very happy that they are taking a little bit of a step back because we have to travel to the Bay again. So maybe that game won't be as tough as it would have been in the past couple of years. But they have cut a lot of pieces to the team that competed in the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see how they rebound. Again, I agree with you, Kyle. I think that they have a lot of good parts over there and good brains in the head office or in the front office, I should say. And I think they'll be okay.
They just make room for their quarterback. They're about to sign him to a contract, so they got to make room.
Yeah, guys, I believe that was the best move for both parties. I think Debo's going to be better off in Washington, and the Niners are going to be better off without Debo. That's just me personally. It just seems like there was too much of recurring issues, the same issues recurring over there. Like Kittle can't stay healthy, Debo can't stay healthy, McCaffrey can't stay healthy. It's time to start loading that talent with some young players, right? Go through, like Dustin said there, go build through the draft, get younger and get healthier because, man, that team has sustained more injuries in the last 5 years than any team I've ever seen in the history of football. And Foster, you say, I'm very glad Daniel Jones didn't re-sign with the Vikes. I wish Daniel Jones would have re-signed.
Me too.
I wish they declared him the starter.
I think even people keep saying J.J. McCarthy sucks, J.J. McCarthy's terrible. I bet you J.J. McCarthy's upside is better than Daniel Jones. That guy is
might be
awful, man. And he should not have gotten paid $14 million from the Indianapolis Colts. That's ridiculous. And Justin Fields didn't deserve $30 million guaranteed from the Jets. That's also a ridiculous contract for a guy who's never thrown more than 12 touchdowns in a season.
Daniel Jones fell in the open field surrounded by nobody. He basically tackled himself on a run. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, he's very sloppy, very clumsy. Sean, one team I do want to talk about is the team you mentioned earlier. I want to talk about the Washington Commanders because, man, this team, this wasn't a one-and-done season. This team is building for the future. They're going to have sustained success there. They're making the great moves. And on the flip side of that, guys, does anybody know in any way, shape, or form what the hell is going on in Houston? What the hell is going on in Houston?
Why did you give away your left tackle?
And your center. What's going on?
You know who's not writing thank you cards right now?
CJ Stroud is like, well, I wish I was Jaden Daniels. I wish I was playing
Yeah.
over there, man. Jaden Daniels is the biggest smile in the world on his face, and CJ Stroud has the biggest grimace in the world. I mean, dude, this guy just got beat up last year. They still managed to make it to the playoffs and win a playoff game, probably solely because of guys like CJ Stroud. And what do? You take away more of his protection? I mean, they could the Texans couldn't block up the middle to save their lives last year. So what do? You trade away his left tackle? I don't know what's going on there in Houston.
Really good left tackle, not just his left tackle.
One of the top five in the league, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But
Houston traded for Kirk, got C.J. Gardner Johnson, retained Mario Edwards, Derek Bennett, and then signed the only lineman they signed. Well, they signed Sheldon Rankins on as the D tackle, but their offensive guard, they signed Lincoln Tomlinson to a 1-year deal. But outside of that, I mean, you're looking at a team that's probably going to be looking to draft a lot of linemen, to help build a young line around their young quarterback. So that might be some competition for the Bears here in this upcoming draft when we're battling for line spots. Oh, but yeah, when you get into Washington, I mean, Jesus, you're right. They're not a one and done. They traded for Debo, and I know that we just kind of ragged on Debo a little bit, but I think Debo could have a really decent season in that offense. With Jaden, and they got Tunsil, they retained Wagner, they just re-upped Zach Ertz 1 year 6.2, which I thought was a little crazy, but he had a solid year for him. They also re-upped John Bates to a 3-year deal, and then they signed Kinlaw, Will Harris, Eddie Goldman, a former Chicago Bear, and cornerback Jonathan Jones. So Washington.
Do you guys feel like there's some winds of change? Do you feel like the NFC is starting to really creep up towards
catch back up to the AFC? Yes.
Yeah, I think this NFC is going to be much stronger than it has been in years past in the next couple of years here, man.
I'll tell you this though, I'm very happy, and we talked about this in our group chat earlier with what the Buffalo Bills are doing, because they're actually adding. They got Bosa, they re-signed.
No.
Listen. They needed pass rush. They adjust pass rush. They just backed up the Brinks truck for Josh Allen. The only thing right now I don't like.
Sean, they could have signed a good receiver to 1 year for the money they gave Josh Palmer. Why would you give Josh Palmer 3 years, man? First of all, that guy can't stay healthy either, dude.
But they also extended Shakur. They have Keon Coleman, and I am almost guaranteeing you they're going to go in this draft and they're going to end up with like a Jaden Higgins or someone like that in the second or third round to round out this receiving core.
I'm fine with those players, but you just wasted money on Josh.
I don't know. I don't like that Josh.
You could have put that money somewhere else and made your team better, especially knowing you're probably going to draft another receiver anyway. So why the hell would you give Josh Palmer a 3-year contract? That doesn't make any sense to me. Sometimes the Bills will do one thing one day, and you're like, man, I wish we were the Bills. The team is so awesome. They're so good. Just pay Josh Allen. And then they make a signing the next day, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad we're not the Bills. Thank Jesus. It's like people keep saying the Bills are cursed. No, the Bills just take one step forward and 2 steps back.
Yeah,
maybe Billy Bean should be fired. Erica, and I believe the Bears did get one compensatory pick this year. I think it's $240.
Yes. We were talking about it yesterday. We thought they had 6, but they have 7 picks. There's 2 picks in the 7th round. Yeah.
Yeah. They got an extra 7th round pick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
No, Sean, it stinks. It stinks to see, because I do believe, guys, that there's going to be a kind of rivalry between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels for a long time, just because of the draft stock and all that stuff. So to see Washington just continue to get better and better and better and make these tremendous moves, you're going to run. I think Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels are going to run into the playoffs a lot.
They got steamrolled though in the playoffs in that championship game. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, so but they made it to the championship game with a rookie quarterback, bro. They beat the Lions in Detroit, and they beat the shit out of them.
7 rushing touchdowns.
Listen, my hope is that Jaden Daniels has some progression. That's my own. That's all I can hope for at this point, because that guy is the real deal. There's no doubt about it. He's the real deal.
Let me ask you guys this too. One more sneaky team in the NFC, and I just want to get your thoughts. The Los Angeles Rams. They restructured Matthew Stafford. They got Devontae Adams 2 years, 46. They got a nice defensive tackle and Puna Ford, who I was actually hoping the Bears would be looking at.
Yeah.
And I know we're not all excited about this, but obviously McVay likes him because they did re-up Coleman Shelton on a 2-year deal. But if you look at that squad and from their first half of the season to where they finished, especially with these young ascending help me out. I can't think of their the two young guys.
Jarrett Verse and Braden Fisk.
Yes, thank you. With Verse and Fisk, now you add that experience with Puna Ford, whose numbers are actually pretty solid if you look them up. I mean, this team got a little bit better. We'll have to see what they do in the draft. But again, a playoff team. They almost beat the Lions in the playoffs. I mean, this team is another serious contender. And Kyle, I agree. I think the gap between the NFC and the AFC is a lot closer. And the NFC are defending Super Bowl champions. And I don't think the Eagles are taking too far of a step back. And I will say I'll be popping popcorn and getting ready for Eagles Redskins next year because those are going to be some fun football games.
You guys, Dustin says that 7th round pick, they already had that one. So
it was from like the Browns through somebody else through. It was
I thought I read today they got a compensatory pick. So if they didn't. That's fine.
You guys, real quick,
who cares?
Sean, we'll get right back to what you're talking about here in a minute. I just want to give another shout out to all of our listeners here. Anybody listening on X, please go over to our a 4-Star Chicago Sports YouTube page. Please like and subscribe. I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. Foster, Erica, Dustin, Brandon just joined the chat, guys. One of the 4 stars himself. Breaking news, Bruce, Elizabeth, Aunt Mass. I know I'm with Philip. There's a whole, if ever I miss somebody's name, I apologize, guys. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Ron has joined the chat here, guys.
And hold on one second.
Easy to say this because he's a wide receiver, but
hold on, say it again.
I know it sounds crazy to say this because he's a wide receiver, and this is usually not the case. But to me, the success of the Los Angeles Rams lies heavily on the shoulders of Puka Nacua and his health. I mean, if they lose Puka Nacua again, like they have basically every year since he's been drafted, or the last 3 years since he's been drafted, they're down to just Devontae Adams at receiver there. You know that Matthew Stafford is not very mobile anymore. He needs to get that ball out of his hand quickly. If the only guy getting open is Devontae Adams, who's also lost a step, guys, they're going to be in trouble. I love Kyron Williams. I love that backfield. I like the Rams. I think their offensive line could use some work for sure. I think that Puka Nacua, for them to be successful or make a deep run in the playoffs, he has to be. Now the Cooper Cup is gone. You don't have that security blanket anymore. So Puka Nacua has to stay healthy for that team to make a deep run in the playoffs. He has
I can see them drafting a wide receiver, but I got to be honest with you. In fantasy football, I'm going to be probably eyeballing Devontae Adams. I think he's going to have a pretty damn good year. I think Stafford's going to love him.
Here, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get ready for Kyle to beat me up on one of these names, but that's fine. I'll take it. Between Kyron Williams and Breece Hall next year for fantasy football, especially with Rodgers gone, I think they're both going to take really big step forwards. And you say that with Kyron Williams because he's been a top 5 back in fantasy, but they're going to be facing lighter boxes and great and pretty good offenses. And I know, beat me up for saying Justin Fields, but I think Justin Fields can put together something. He's reunited with Garrett Wilson. Go take a look at their chemistry in college. It was amazing. I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to win a Super Bowl, guys, but I'm saying when it comes to fantasy, you're going to be looking at some lighter boxes.
Justin Fields is going to hurt Breece Hall.
I don't think he's going to hurt Breece Hall.
If Justin Fields is running for 900 yards, Sean, then he's taking away the rushing yards from Breece Hall.
Did he run for 900 yards last year? No, he was standing in the pocket and he was passing. He was passing. He wasn't even looking to run last year.
He's going to run on the Jets. I think we all know that he's going to run on the Jets, man. I mean, there's not a lot to throw the ball to.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to maintain what I just said. I think both of them will take a bigger step forward next year facing lighter boxes.
I want you to draft Justin Fields in the 2nd round as your quarterback.
I'm not going to draft Justin Fields. I didn't say anything about Justin Fields.
He's talking about Breece Hall. Breece Hall is not a first-round pick. He shouldn't have been a first-round pick last year, and I said that. He should not have been a first-round pick last year. He shouldn't be a first-round pick in fantasy this year. I don't hate Breece Hall. I don't think he's the worst player in football. I think he's a good running back. I think he ended up on a terrible organization, a terrible team, and he has not lived up to his potential. That's what I think about Breece Hall. I think that will continue this year.
And really quick, to Dustin's point here, he didn't run because he couldn't hold the starting job. when he was starting for 6 games, go watch the tape. He wasn't trying to run. He was standing in the pocket trying to pass. Go look at it. He towards the right before he got benched the last couple of games, he wasn't even trying to get out of the pocket. I said this to you, Kyle. We were watching the games together. I'm like, dude, look at Justin Fields, because we were betting his props for over rushing. Remember that? And I'm like, dude, this guy isn't even running anymore out of the pocket. He's standing there trying to pass. So,
Sean, you know where I stand. I don't hate Justin Fields. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's one of the best athletes in the NFL, no doubt about it, all-around athletes. I don't think he's a good quarterback.
I agree.
That's it.
And you and I have talked about this. We both believe and we both feel that Justin Fields would be suited for a Taysom Hill role in an offense, and he would excel at that position.
Okay, what I'm saying is Justin Fields replacing Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets offense makes the offense more stagnant. Therefore, everybody's numbers in fantasy are going to suffer. That offense is going to be more stagnant this year than it was last year. Justin Fields can't sustain drives. He can't keep the offense on the field because he can't throw the ball.
He holds the ball.
No disrespect to Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields, but he would never be my quarterback ever again. If I was any team in the NFL, Sean, I agree with you 100%. He should be Taysom Hill. If he was Taysom Hill for the Bears, I would love him.
If he was good, Pittsburgh would have kept him.
Pittsburgh tried to keep him. The Jets offered him more money. That's an actual fact. I read it today. Pittsburgh tried to keep him. The guaranteed money from the Jets was more, so he decided to sign with New York.
What? It wasn't. And if they liked it, they would have given him more. They would have offered more then.
Well, the Jets are the only team in the NFL that would give him $30 million guaranteed. That's insane. Like if I'm a Jets fan, I am really close to jumping ship. If
you're happy though,
it's not like you can jump to the other New York team.
Hey, what's up, Cricket Commish? Thanks for joining the show, brother, man. Really appreciate you. What's going on? And yes, Erica pointed out, we just talked about this right before we went on the show. Our boy Jack Sanborn signed the 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. It's unfortunate.
I mean, didn't you guys kind of have a feeling?
Good for him.
Yeah, didn't you guys kind of have a feeling Matt Eberflus was going to bring him over there? I had like a suspicion. I'm like, I bet you Matt Eberflus is going to go sign Jack Sanborn. I'm curious to see what the numbers are. I know it's 1 year, but they didn't say how much they're paying him. I want to know how much.
Yeah, I couldn't find that either. I couldn't find that either.
I'm sure whatever it is, he's deserving of it. I think you guys have heard me say this before. I think Jack Sanborn would be better served as the middle linebacker. I really do. I think he would be make more splash plays if he was a middle linebacker. I think he's more comfortable there. But ultimately, I like Jack Sanborn. He deserves to play in the NFL. He deserves to be playing somewhere. If it's in Dallas with Matt Eberflus, I feel bad for you, Jack. You finally got away from Matt Eberflus, and you got to go right back. But I hope he has a good season.
Obviously,
Eberflus is a good D coordinator, though. He's just not a head coach.
Before we move on to mocking,
doesn't hold people accountable. That's the problem.
Before we move on to mocking. And I know this guy's a dynamo, but I believe he's had over, it was 9.5 sacks, 3 or 4 straight seasons. Someone in the chat will know because I'm failing to look it up. But we wanted a speed rusher off the edge. How about reuniting with a former Chicago Bears first-round pick,
Leonard Floyd,
and bringing Leonard Floyd to Chicago on a 1-year deal? The guy has excelled as a dominant pass rusher over the past couple of years.
Sean, but have you ever seen that type of player with that body build in Dennis Allen's defense? I've never seen it. I don't think that's his type of player. I think he likes guys who can move in and out. He likes guys who are capable of being versatile. He likes guys who are big, strong. I've just never seen a light, slender guy succeed in Dennis Allen's. Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly. Oh,
he wants an edge that's big enough to play tackle, and he wants a tackle
Erica's saying he signed with the Falcons.
Oh, he did. You know what? I'm looking at it right now. He just did.
Thanks for the update, Erica.
Yeah, because he wasn't signed.
Good job, Erica.
Yeah, nice job. I didn't see that today either. That must have just happened because I did not see that.
Breaking news, Erica.
Here, and just so we know, he had 11 sacks last year. In 23, he had 11 sacks. In 22, wrong one, wrong switch. He had 12 sacks in 23. In 22, he had 9. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This guy, and then you go to 21, he had another 12 sacks. This guy has been pretty dominant off the edge, man.
Good for the Falcons.
So good. I guess good for the Falcons. Yeah.
What's up, Mike Ross? What's up, T? T, thanks for joining us, man. My bad. I mean, my Lions will enjoy dog walking you guys this season. Yeah, T, it's going to be an interesting season.
Didn't we make a
my
bet
friend.
last week on this?
Where do you stand on Caleb Williams? Just out of curiosity, I want to know the outside perspective of NFC North fans who are watching Caleb Williams. Do you think Caleb Williams is going to be a good quarterback, T? Let us know in the comments here.
And T, also let us know in the comments how you think your offseason is going so far with the addition of DJ Reed.
Good addition.
And you
Very
missed
good.
it.
Great addition.
Your boy Amon Ra earlier in the podcast.
Yeah, you did miss Amron a little bit earlier. We featured him. I love him. It's okay. He's a Lion, but he's awesome. I dig him. I love his podcast.
He said, Foster says Leonard Floyd actually signed Tuesday with the Falcons. I didn't see that, so thanks for updating us.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Well, he
Dustin says,
probably
"What
is
up, T?"
terms. I don't know if he signed.
I didn't see that slip through the cracks, man.
Sean, do you know who Foster's talking about here? He says we should sign a linebacker, guy out of Ohio State.
It's Cody Simon. It's Cody Simon, man.
Cody Simon.
Is that who you're thinking of?
That's the tackle machine. That's the guy with 112 tackles last season.
Yeah, that's a tackle machine. I would love Cody Simon, especially if you can get him in the 7th round. Oh my God, that would be a steal. I believe, man.
Oh, T. Erica's saying Amon Ross secretly wants to follow Ben Johnson to Chicago. What do you think about that, brother?
we accept him with open arms. Come on down.
And Dustin says Simon Foster also had 7 sacks last season. Yeah, that guy is listen, we've talked about this on the show before, guys, right? If they're from Ohio State, the odds of them being successful in the NFL in some way, shape, or form are pretty good. They're used to playing NFL caliber teams. So
Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, you're going to get an NFL player.
I'll be honest with you guys.
I'm all for it.
I'm really surprised that Cody Simon is falling that far in the draft because
that's insane.
Solid Buckeye career.
You guys, so listen, I'm not gonna lie. Jay, we did a mock draft here the other day, and they were clicking on the draft profile for Simon. I didn't really know I knew he played for Ohio State. I didn't know how good he was. How is that guy falling to the 7th round, man?
There could be something we don't know about.
I don't understand it.
There could be something we don't know about. We'll see. I mean, I don't remember seeing him in the combine either.
So check this out. Cody Simon's grades overall: 22 and 80.5, 23 77.7. Last year, 87.9. He has not missed a game. He played 802 snaps last year. 87 pass rush, 344 against the run, 371 coverage snaps. He had 67 tackles, 33 assisted. He had 13 missed tackles, which was a career high. He had 6 in his previous 2 years. And this guy lines up all over the field. He lines up on the D line, over the slot, in the box. I mean, he's all over the place, man.
Yeah, you guys. Erica says, "What about the fullback the Niners just released? Kyle, I forgot his last name is Juszczyk.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Everybody
he's a
in the comments,
9-year Pro Bowler, big vet. Probably too old and too expensive, but
I think everybody in the comments here is butchering the spelling. I don't think that's
a tough one, man.
Either of these are how you. That's PT50. Oh, that's Jay. I don't think that's how you spell his last name, though. I think it's.
Then you spell it.
I think there's a lot more. I'm not saying I know it. I just know that.
All right. Okay. Take it easy, big guy.
Foster Covers is all over the sexy late pick names because
Dude, Foster updates, man. He's another breaking news. Foster right there with Bruce, man.
I actually did a couple of mocks yesterday, Foster, and I took.
Right, Jason, you ready for this?
I took Luke Lachey. So this was a lot of fun to do. So you guys want to mock it up?
There you go, Jay. There it is. It's in the comments, guys. This is how this is the spelling of Juszczyk.
Man, who throws a Z in there? That ain't my fault.
I told you, man. It's an awkward name. I would be happy. I would be happy if the Bears signed Juszczyk. I know that Ben Johnson likes.
He likes fullbacks.
I know that. I know he likes fullbacks. So,
and I want to touch here before we move on.
That guy's a 9. Did you guys know that he's a 9-time Pro Bowler?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Former Green Bay Packer, right?
He was the fullback in the NFC playoff or the Pro Bowl game for a decade. That's insane.
Tyler 1 at 10 might be a little early for my flavor, but he's really good.
I would say give Genty to the Cowboys at 10, move back to 12, and take Tyler Warren. I would be really happy with that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people want Genty. I'm just not there with him, man.
Yeah, Tyler Warren's a weapon, though. Like he's gonna start day one. He's gonna score some touchdowns.
Come on, T. Ben Johnson building in the trenches. I wonder where he got that from. Oh, the NFC North champions, or maybe the guys who invented football in 1926. That's probably where you win in the trenches. It was, I think, the first thing George Halas ever said in the history of football.
Yeah, before there was even a forward pass, all you did was run. Yeah.
Oh, guys. So you guys want to mock it up here, or do you guys got anything else you want to talk about?
Well, man, let's keep on addressing the chat here, and let's get into one of these mock drafts, man.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun.
I'm gonna put this up. You guys keep an eye on the chat.
Jason, while he's bringing it up, we never got to really ask you, what was your favorite free agent or trade in the last 3 days? What's your favorite Bears edition?
You know what? After that press conference, I'm going with Grady Jarrett, dude. That
Really?
guy, like, he might be. I've literally, guys. It's funny. I've got tons of jerseys, but people buy them for me. I've been on like a no buy Bears stuff, like kick for a long time until they make it to the playoffs. But Grady Jarrett might be the next jersey I actually buy for myself. I love that dude.
Yeah,
his voice, his presence. You're going to sit down if he's sitting next to you, and that was through the TV. You're sitting down next to that guy and you're talking to him. You're going to listen to what he's saying. I think he's going to have an immediate, awesome impact on that defense. I think he's going to make that defensive line better. I think he makes the whole defense better. I think you can probably not even play a linebacker with him in there, dude. I love this guy. I'm exaggerating. I'm hyperbolic right now. I get it, but I love the dude. Love him.
Jay, he does get you like pumped up, man.
Yeah.
Just listening to him, you're like, yeah, let's go play some damn football. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Jay, a lot of the people in the comments are agreeing with you. Breaking news, Bruce says Jarrett, Erica says Grady. Sean, what do you think about this comment right here?
Which one? The Genty, the next Barry Sanders? Yeah. Okay. Here, I've said this 100 times, man, and I'll say it one more time. I will come on each show that I said this on, and I will eat crow, and I have no problem doing it. I don't believe he's the next Barry Sanders. I don't believe he's the next coming of anything. I think he's going to be a solid NFL player. I think if he were to end up on the Los Angeles Chargers, I would have to eat crow because that's a run-first team. I think this guy is a player who needs a great offensive line, a la some other backs who can get away without having a great offensive line, like Barkley did in the Giants, with the Giants for years. I just don't think he's going to elevate without having the perfect setup for him. And I'm just taking it away, watching how he struggled with lateral quickness against a much quicker defense in Penn State when they played in their bowl game. If you can't run against Penn State's defense, how are you going to use your lateral quickness against much quicker defenders in the NFL? We'll see what happens. As I said, I will come on every show and eat crow if this guy rushes for 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns next year. No problem.
Yeah,
no
Sean,
problem.
knowing your luck, week one, he's going to run over Jalen Carter and run for 375 yards week one.
Yeah. I don't see that happening.
The two guys you never like. All right, Sean, get rid of our ugly faces here, and let's.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna do you all a favor and get rid of our ugly faces. How about that? Booyah! All right, you guys got to tell me. Can you see everything?
Yeah, I don't know if I like that little trade there.
No, we're gonna move it here. So we got 15th and 46.
I don't mind that.
And then we have 2051 in Denver's second round next year.
See, 20 might be just a little too low for me.
Yeah, I like the trade with Atlanta. I think 15 is perfect for the Bears.
So you guys want to accept this and move down?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Andy, pick up a 7th-round pick.
Booyah, down to 15. We're definitely not accepting anything, and that's
Green Bay. No.
That's the only trade offer. Although that's not really bad. You get 20.
Yeah, but that's on you guys. Green Bay would never offer the Bears.
No, they
would never.
That would never happen.
All right, we rejected that. So where do we want to go first, boys? You tell me offense, defense, and I'll toggle this thing around.
All right, let's get some chat here, guys. You here in the chat. We're at 15 now. We traded back. Tell us what you like here, man. Sean's going to show everybody available on the board here. So
we just talked about Josh Simmons.
The best players available are still Banks. You got Mekhi Williams, Tyler Booker, James Pierce, Derek Harmon, and I'm skipping some
Sean,
guys.
You skipped over Matthew Golden. No,
I'm going over positions.
The best receiver in the draft.
The Bears are not taking Matthew Golden at 15.
No, they're not.
So what is anybody saying?
Sean,
anything?
Sean, can you bring up the list of tackles and guards?
All right. So our offensive tackles are Banks, Simmons, and Irsay, Cameron Williams, Josh Cornley. I think we can get a couple of these guys in the second round. Our offensive guards are Booker, Zabel, Donovan Jackson.
All right, guys, here you go. Erica is saying Nick Emanwari. Philip is saying Mikael Williams. Anybody else? Got any?
Is Emanwari still available?
Yeah, Emanwari is
Yeah.
still available. I think he's
Right there.
I love Emanwari. I don't think that's at the top of the Bears' priority list. I'm not saying I wouldn't take him. I don't think the Bears see themselves taking a safety in the first round. Now, listen, guys, I understand that Jaquan Brisker has health issues, but I think the Bears still believe that Jaquan Brisker is going to be a big part of this team next year. If he gets hurt, then they'll have a backup plan, but they're going to start the season with him starting. So, I mean, unless you're planning on replacing what's his name from Tennessee, Kevin Byard, I think Jaquan Brisker has secured himself the number one role in Chicago. Sean, let's go to the defensive ends here.
defensive edges.
So you still got James Pierce, you still got Mike Green, you still got Nick Scorton. You got base. I mean,
Landon Jackson. I like James Pierce Jr.
I do too.
I like Mikael Williams. I
like him too.
That man says, who's that defensive tackle, Sean?
Defensive tackle. You got Derek Harmon, Tyleek Williams, Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant.
All good picks.
Yeah,
but you guys also have to look at the value. So see Jason on the left-hand side, the number next to their name.
Yeah,
that's where they're projected to go. So when we looked at the edge, one of those guys would be considered a steal because he was projected.
Right, we got 2 first rounders,
Williams
or 2 second rounders.
14. Sean, what about tackle?
Defensive tackle. We got Harmon.
No, sorry, offensive tackle.
Offensive tackles. We have Banks. We have Banks and Simmons. You know, if it was me, I would be taking Simmons here.
he might drop.
Not that far.
I don't think he'll make it to the second round.
No, he's not going to make it to the second round.
Yeah, so do you want to take your first round pick a chance on him?
Your next pick is 39. So if you want Josh Simmons, you got to take him now.
So if you're going to pick a tackle, I'd rather have Banks.
Dustin says Banks or Williams. Erica says Walter Nolan.
All right, well, let's pick one. We're going to be here forever.
Foster says get a safety later.
Yes,
Matt says
agree.
Harmon or Nolan or Simmons. He's fine with any of the three.
My pick is edge.
Foster says take one of the 2 edges, so he agrees with Jason. Phil also agrees with Jason. I like defensive end here.
Yep.
So you guys want to take Mikael Williams?
Yeah, let's take Mikael Williams.
Let's take Mikael. Yeah.
We're
a great
in.
pick for the Bears.
All right. So we said we're not going to do that.
No, that's too far back. 63.
Yeah, but we got a second pick though.
Also,
So
no
we're
offense,
picking.
T, but not happening. All right, so we're at 39 here, guys. Now let's go take a look at.
What do you want to look at? Offensive guards?
Offensive linemen. Let's take a look.
I like Gray's Zabel.
So Zabel's still there.
So is Cornley.
Connerly, a knucklehead.
Connerly, whatever.
We got a second round pick, Dustin, and we got the 15th overall pick in the trade.
Yes.
Dustin says double dip at edge? Question mark.
Oh, yes. Dude, I do love Landon. I'm not going to lie to you.
saying take Zabel.
Here, I'll tell you this. I think the Bears could still get Landon. If we skip Landon Jackson right now, I think we could still get him with our next pick.
41. Yeah, that's one pick. That's one pick away.
You might be able to get him at 46.
Hey, let's be honest. The Bengals could use a dominant edge, and if he's the best edge available, there's a chance we could lose him in the one pick.
Yeah, because they're going to probably let Hendrickson go or whatever. Yeah.
Safety.
Makuba's still there.
Makuba
still there. Latham Ransom's still there, but these are third round guys. So
yeah, these are third round guys, and I think we'll be able to
too.
get one of these guys here.
Yeah, but Sean, last time we did this, all the safeties were gone when we came back around. You remember that? Phil says who's a defensive tackle.
So what's everyone saying out there? Where do they want to go?
Phil says who's a defensive tackle. So you got to bring that up real quick.
We got Walter Nolan.
Walter Nolan's available? That's my pick right there, dude.
There's your best value right there, too. Projected 31.
100%.
Vernon says,
what about offense?
Yeah, what about running back? Running back.
33.
Running back, Hampton, Johnson, Junkin. Everyone's still there. I mean, there's 4 running backs still there. You're getting a steal on Hampton's value, but there's a chance you could still get one of these guys, down the road just a little bit.
I say defensive tackle. I just think the value is too good, man.
You
You're
still
on
have
either.
Ray Zabel there,
For
too.
me,
if
it's
you want.
Zabel or defensive tackle.
I agree. Zabel or Nolan?
Zabel or Nolan, chat. Tell us what we should do
You
here.
got
Looks like
three Nolans
Nolan.
already. Sean, you got 4 Nolans.
Four
Yeah,
Nolans.
Nolan,
All right,
Four
we're taking
Nolans.
Walter Nolan. That's
Thanks for the help,
that's
guys.
how it be.
Yeah, it's a great start for the Bears, man.
Yep. So 41 and 40 for 48.
Yeah, but it's
and
a 2026. We're not gonna be able to do it.
And you get 51 and 85. You move
No.
back 10 spots,
Nah.
Yeah, I just don't think 85 is worth it. That's not enough for me.
and that's it.
All right, so
All right.
reject that shit. All right, guys, here we are, 41. Let's take
41.
another look
and
at
you can
those.
still get Landon Jackson.
Jesus. Wait, who's did Zabel? Oh, we can take up Gray Zabel right now if we wanted to.
Buffalo traded up to get a cornerback,
Wow. Gray Zabel's still there, dude.
and Buffalo took Donovan Jackson. I'm just trying to see what Buffalo did in here. Nick Immanwori went to Denver.
At 20,
Golden.
wow.
Golden went to Seattle, which would be good to replace their diminishing troops.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to take a look at that really quick.
Vernon says he's concerned about Grant and how much Graham had his impact on his success. Philip Palmacero says, what's there at safety?
Safety, we got
Sorry, Palmisano. I mispronounced his name. I apologize. Foster
Mbak-
Covers says,
Mukuba?
look, yeah, but those guys are still going to be there at 46.
Yeah, I
they're
think we could
projecting
still get them.
71.
Dude, Gray
Yeah.
Zabel is still available.
Yeah, Erica says Zabel or Marion Hampton. I think we got to give Erica one of these picks, guys. She keeps
Who'd she say?
she's been the most active, and we haven't picked anything. She says Zabel or Marion Hampton.
Erica, you pick.
I'm fine with Hampton, guys.
I'm fine with Hampton or Zabel
I'm fine with Hampton.
because I'll tell you, I'm really big on Wyatt Milma, and he'll be available at 46. And I love the mullet man, Tate Ratledge, dude. So I'm fine. I'm fine. If you want to roll running back, we'll take him right now. We're gonna break Dustin's heart.
So everybody else is saying guard, guys. Aunt Mass says guard. Foster Cover says
Zabel.
guard. Erica says Zabel. So let's go Zabel.
Zabel it is.
That's the
And we're on to
majority
46.
of the chat there. All right, guys,
Ooh.
right back up.
Yeah, I don't like this
Yeah,
either. All right, we're done with that. So, we just took Zabel, right?
now we got to go run. Now we got to think about running back, guys.
I think so.
We're starting to get pretty.
I mean,
pretty
Hampton's
deep.
still there at 46.
Oh, you got to go Hampton.
I agree.
I'm sorry,
I think
Chap,
we're gonna.
but you
I
got-
think
look
we're
at the-
gonna.
look at
Our
the
next
value.
pick after this is 72. So,
It's a
I
big
think-
drop off. Yeah.
I know Dustin
Well-
wants Judkins.
well, hold on, really quick. So far. Oh shit! Oops. So far, we have Williams, Nolan, and Zabel.
Not a bad draft.
We have what? 4 more picks or 5?
We got 46, 72, 233, and 240.
You sure you can't? All right, so yeah, I'm going running back here, guys. At some point, the Bears need to add a bruiser.
I think you can. You just filled some needs that we were talking about earlier. You got
Everybody in the
defensive
chat
linemen.
agrees. Hampton.
Hampton it is. 72. I would like to take a look at the safeties here.
Sean, let's take a look at special teams.
Jalen Reed.
I'm just
Kicker.
kidding.
Kicker. I want Ben Sauls. So when it comes to the safety position, we did it again. I mean, I would be really happy with Jalen Reed or Billy Bowman.
And
Or
we can wait on both those guys though.
A lot of people like Malachi Moore too.
Yeah.
But he's still there too.
Yeah.
Mhm. But he's
Well,
projected
if
to
we're
go
going to take a
way later.
safety, we have to take one now because our next pick is
Oh,
233.
Erica likes Castro.
Okay. Anybody else chiming in?
Justin
do
says
need a-
gotta go safety at 72.
Got to go safety at 72.
I
All right,
think,
so
yeah.
I like Kevin Winston. Can you click on his draft profile, Sean?
Yep. Winston showcased elite playmaking ability, excelling in pursuit, tracking, and tackling. His instincts in coverage and tackle security highlight his potential as a refined prospect with the tools to thrive in an NFL for the next decade.
Yeah, I still think Reed was the better safety on Penn. That's just my opinion.
Well,
And I really like-
Sean, can you click on his draft profile?
Jalen Reed.
Yeah, I just want to so the list the chat can want to see it.
Look, they obviously had more to say about him.
Yeah. It says he's physical, instinctive safety, well-rounded skill set that allows him to contribute in all phases of the game. He excels in run support, demonstrating strong tackling ability and willingness to come downhill aggressively in coverage. Reed has the range to patrol deep zones and the awareness to read quarterbacks and anticipate plays. His ball skills and his ability to make plays in contested situations add value to his secondary. Reed's aggressiveness can sometimes work against him, but by overcommitting in both the run game and in coverage. However, he has a high football IQ and leadership on the field make him a dependable presence.
I mean, dude, it sounds like the breakdown I did a couple weeks ago.
His RAS score was 8.39. Can you what's Winston's RAS score?
He did not participate.
Probably for a reason, because his buddy was better.
Dustin
Billy
says
Bowman.
Reed or more. So I think
Who
we all
says that?
agree it's Dustin. So I think we all agree it's Reed, right? Although here's the question, guys. Can we get Reed later on? I mean, we're at pick 72. He's projected to go.
Yeah, but I think our next pick is like 2.
Oh, we're next. Oh, never
There's
mind. We're at 233.
233.
Yep, Sean, I'd take him. I'm fine with Reed. I'm fine with Reed if you guys are.
We'll take Reed. We took Malachi Moore the other day, so we'll switch it up this time.
Yeah.
I like Moore too. I think Moore's great.
I like this draft so far.
We're going to make this really easy because I think our boy's going to be here. Sebastian.
Linebacker.
Yep. We'll see. Man, it's going to be
Damn, it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
We'll be right with you
Nick Nash
guys.
took that
We'll be
draft.
right with you guys. We're just waiting 4 rounds until we pick again.
Hey, Kyle. Nick Nash went in the 5th round in this mock.
Hell yeah. Sean, have you ever seen the movie Paul?
Cody Simon is right there. We're taking him, dude.
I was thinking about a linebacker because we obviously need
We're
one.
taking him.
I don't think we have a lot of depth.
240.
It was the last pick, right?
Yeah.
Sean, look at corners.
Corner.
Yeah, in case.
Can we look at long snappers?
We just signed one, Jason.
Yeah, I don't really recognize.
Yeah, that's a little bit of information. The longest tenured bear is no longer a bear.
Dustin, I agree with you. I this is one of my favorite comments of the day here. I think cornerback is an underrated need for the Bears. If Tyreek Stevenson does end up having a disastrous season and can't get his head out of his ass, the Bears are going to be
He's a good player. He's just you're right. He's got to get his head out of his ass.
I just don't know if any of these guys here are going to would help us in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Look at I'm just rating them. I'm right in the middle here.
Marshall.
Only 2 career receptions and just 7 pass breakups in the past 2 seasons. Yep, out.
Hey, what about wide receiver? I mean, can we sneak some little speedy stud out of there?
Who's Dustin brings up a good point, guys. We forgot about tight end.
Yeah, let's look at offense.
Yeah, we really did because
We kind of missed the boat on that.
I've heard of Jackson House.
Well, look at his draft profile.
I
I
haven't
want to
heard
see
of any
if
of
they're
these
more
other
blockers or Jackson House is
Incredibly poor career.
He has terrible hands.
What the hell? Why is this guy being drafted?
Yeah, why is he 220? Yeah.
We're good.
See, this guy
Versatility.
sounds better. I like this guy, and he's 6'4", 240 or 246 pounds. He could probably block too.
Bart
Struggles against man, isn't a refined route runner. Lack of explosion causes issues when single coverage.
I mean,
guys. I think
look at wide receiver.
I think we missed out on. I think we missed out on the tight ends.
Yeah, and there's some really good ones. Yeah, I don't know any of these wide receivers either. I mean, this is truly. You know what? If you want to take a wide receiver, I got one right here for you. Yep, right here.
You just saw Kansas.
No, I love Quentin Skinner, dude. I watched him for 4 years at Rock Chalk, baby.
Foster, thanks a lot so much for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Have a good night, man.
Hey,
Later,
thanks, Foster,
Foster.
man. We'll see you next week, brother. We'll see
Thanks
you
for
on
the
your
comment.
show.
Yeah, Dustin says let's not agonize over this pick, guys. Just get it done. Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
There's not that much out there. None of these guys are going to be worth.
I just took Quentin Skinner.
Yeah,
Great. We wasted
practice
the
squad
pick.
Skinner. That's what we call him now.
It's not a bad draft.
So, you guys, here's the draft results here. We got Mikael Williams, pick 15 in the first round. Walter Nolan at 39. Grace Zabel at 41. 46, Omarion Hampton. 72, Jalen Reed. 233, Cody Simon, and 240, Quentin Skinner. Not a bad draft.
Skinner.
If I do say, I don't see Hampton being there at 46.
No, somebody's gonna pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, all the love.
I just don't see him being there. But it's like I see Caleb Johnson there at 46. That's what Sean's thinking in his head right now. That's exactly
well,
what
that is true. Well, if you listen to the Cowboys and the way Jerry Jones is lathering himself up for fucking this guy, he loves Hampton. I just don't know that the Cowboys are going to let him go.
Sean, here you go. Justin Jones gave us a B+. Philip says those first 4 picks are damn good. You're hired. Dustin says Judkins is better anyway. And Ron Winorski says sign Cody Parkey. LOL. Please God, never again. Didn't he end up on like The View or something and was like saying he was getting death threats?
Yeah,
he probably was. I think a couple of them might have been me. I don't know.
Hey, Dustin,
so we know what Jason was doing.
Dustin, let me ask you this really quick. If Judkins is there and Hampton is there and the Bears are picking at 46, would you still take Judkins over Hampton? Just curious.
You guys want to do one more real quick, or do you want to get out of here?
We can do one more. We got time.
Yeah, Sean. Let's go left. Let's go left tackle in the first round this time.
All right.
Let's see how the draft plays out.
Let's see what kind of trades we get. Let's see what we got going on.
I'm saying let's try to trade back to 15-20 like we did before, except for this.
Let's
go offensive end.
The ones I did last year yesterday, and I ended up with like 19 extra picks, and the Bears were loaded. I love those, man. But also probably not a realistic. So,
but it's 2026. Holy
this is a trade that interests me. You move back to 27. You still could probably get a left tackle there in Joshua Simmons. You pick up 59 and you pick up 91 and 2 picks next year.
That's a very late second rounder. Like you're going to give you a pick from 27 to 10, and you're giving us one of the last picks in the second round. I don't like that at all, man.
It looks like Atlanta's pretty much giving us the same.
Yeah, but we just saw there's a lot of talent there. You can end up with a cornerback. You can end up with a safety with these extra picks.
Phil, thank you very much, man. We appreciate you joining us. Have a good night, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil, man. Thank you, sir.
Later, Phil.
Peace and love. Bear down, buddy. See you next week.
Did you take the Baltimore trade?
Sean, can you see those trades again? What was the last trade there, Sean?
I did not. Sorry, I bounced off of it.
Got it.
Where did it go? Well, right here.
Well, you just.
What in the world, Bobby?
So you got 14.
This is the last one. What was the last one?
The last one was the same one we just did, 15 and 46.
Yeah, that was Sam.
Yeah, I'm with that. That's what I like. That's my vote.
You want to move back to
3 second rounders?
I really like this, man. You're really stacking picks, and I guarantee you're still going to be able to build your line at 27.
Dustin likes the Lions. Dustin likes the Lions trade.
I think I do too.
28, 60, 102, and Detroit's second rounder. Right,
I actually do like that. I don't disagree.
Let's go with that then.
Let's
go with that. Everybody likes that one.
But in real life, we would never give the Lions the 10th overall.
They would, yeah.
I want to go back and see really quick who the Lions decided, who they gave the Lions there.
Oh, Josh Simmons is gone.
What? Okay.
Josh Simmons is gone.
He went to 18. He went to 18. He went 18. That's okay. That's okay.
This draft's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's nice to bounce around a little bit and see what you got here. So if we want to go tackle,
where did Gianti go? Just out of curiosity, where did Gianti go?
12
to the Cowboys.
Oh, shit. 12 to the Cowboys.
Justin, the 49ers just drafted a tight end, Tyler Warren, at number 11.
Well, you got to think, man. George Kittle's getting up there in age. I mean, he's still probably got a couple years left in him. But I mean, Warren and Kittle on the field together, that would be stupid dangerous. So you still got Donovan there. You got Donovan. I almost like Donovan Jackson better than Gray Zabel, man. That's just me. Let's go take a look at the defense and the edges and tackles. You got Tyleek Williams, Walter Nolan, and the edges.
Nick Gordon, not too bad.
Yeah. I'm probably – I mean, it's either Walter Nolan or for me, Walter Nolan or
who's available at wide receiver?
Trey Harris. You got Jaden.
You guys,
Jaden.
what's with what's left on the board here, let's look at those trade offers again because I don't love any of these players.
59,
91,
47 and 78, and 40 and 71.
I like that one. But
So we basically move out of the first round altogether?
Yeah, it's too far back. We got to take the Bears needed somebody who can impact this roster right now.
How about Donovan Jackson, man?
Can you bring up his draft profile, Sean?
It says super stud.
Donovan Jackson is poised to be a top interior offensive lineman in the 2025 NFL Draft, showcasing an impressive resume at Ohio State at 6'4" and 320 pounds. He combines sharp intelligence, explosive mobility, and powerful strength with solid athleticism and punchy hands. Jackson has all the tools to become a long-term force on an NFL offensive line. Yeah, I mean that they certainly paint a good picture there for sure. I'd be fine with Donovan Jackson. What do you guys think out there? Justin Jones says Donovan Jackson cannot be your first pick. Erica says Wyatt Millum.
I like Wyatt
or
Millum
Tate
a lot.
Rutledge.
I love Tate. You know I love the mullet.
Who's left
man.
in the running back room there, Sean?
Everybody. Oh, no, not everybody. Hampton, Johnson, Judkins, tight ends.
What about cornerback?
Benjamin Morrison. Benji.
I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I'll go wherever you guys are down with here. I don't love any of this.
Hey Dustin, just curious, why can't we take Donovan Jackson because he's not going to impact the roster in year one? I'm just curious on that. Let me know what he says.
He may though, dude. He may have to wind up starting. Somebody could easily get hurt.
That's what I'm saying, man. You have to start looking for the future. I also don't like.
Sean, he's answered your question in the.
I can't see it.
It says not a guard with the first pick, guys. That's crazy. Safety ? What safeties are there?
Xavier Watts is there.
He's pretty damn good.
That would be my pick. Xavier Watts would be my pick for sure.
All right, we'll draft a safety this time. We'll switch it up because all of our drafts have been offensive line or defensive.
Yeah,
line.
There's just nothing really all that great left.
Well, we got a bunch of picks coming up here.
All right, so move back to 45. That's the only trade pick we're getting offered. I think.
I don't think so.
Draft here.
Yeah, I think we need to draft another player. What's it? Running back, Sean?
The RBs are. We got Hampton.
Hampton is getting no love, man.
I don't understand it. I really don't.
What's at edge?
Mike Green and Landon Jackson.
Well, we can pick up Landon Jackson maybe with the next pick too.
Remember, yeah, you got pick 41.
You got 2 picks, yeah. Do you want to go? Well, let's take a look at the wide receivers. I mean, that's a position of need for the Bears.
Sean Atmas says something that you're going to love down here. He says, I am all in on the mullet.
Yeah, that's right, Atmas. Mullet power, baby. I love Tate Rutledge, man. I love his tape. I love what he did at the combine. I like him a lot. Dustin
says, these drafts are not reflective of reality. Hampton never makes it. Or never gets drafted early in these mock drafts.
Who's
never
at
makes
D-tackle?
It this late in real drafts. Kenneth Grant's still there.
Ooh, that's who I'm picking.
Yeah, me too.
Kenneth Grant it is. I like Kenneth Grant a lot.
And he's projected 34, so you're getting a steal there.
Green Bay, no.
No.
Baltimore, no.
No.
All right. So.
They took Mike Green. Damn. Of course they did.
And Hampton's still there. Well, obviously.
I think Landon Jackson's still there, no?
I like Landon Jackson. What have we done so far? It's all been defense.
Yeah, guys, we do need a running back. I mean, that's going to.
All right. How about we go defense here? And
then we pick at 60.
All right, so let's take Landon Jackson.
Let's try this.
All right, take Landon Jackson. Take Landon Jackson.
Yeah, we have a pick at 60.
So take Landon Jackson. We'll take one of these 3 running backs at 60.
We'll take Landon Jackson. Let's see what's there at 60.
It's going to be Judkins, and Sean's going to have to eat it.
Yeah, I think we can get a running back right here.
I hope it's Judkins.
No, he's gone.
He's gone. It's Henderson. Man, all 3 of them went.
Caleb Johnson just went to the Dolphins.
That's crazy.
Hey, Devin Neal probably went a while ago, no?
Vernon says Scattaboo.
Dude, Junkins went to the Chargers at 55. I would be all in on Junkins if he went to the Chargers, dude. I'll just say that. Let's see. How about a wide receiver, man? Ooh.
Yeah, let's look at what we need a slot, dude. We need a slot bad.
How about Restrepo?
Restrepo for sure,
for
100%.
sure. Where's
All
Brandon
right,
at?
we'll take Restrepo. Where's Brandon at?
Oh, Tez Johnson was still there too.
Oh, I would have taken Tez, yeah.
He's still there. We can get Tez Johnson right now. We could add another receiver.
That
Sean,
was
look at the
that was
tight end.
my guy, my
Show me
boy.
some tight end action. Oh,
Gunnar
the Bears
Helm.
have brought Mason Taylor in for a top 30 visit already, guys. This is a guy that could really.
I'll just say this. I like Gunnar Helm a lot more, dude. He's going to be really good in the NFL, dude. Like, really good.
Dependable hands.
Yeah, this is all good stuff they're saying here, man.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, we're going to be talking about him in the NFL.
6'5", 241. If you want to max protect, that's the dude you want on the line.
You guys, Dustin said, or Erica, first of all, says she likes the Restrepo pick. Dustin says, who are the running backs? And he follows that up with, the win will take Tez Johnson tomorrow.
You know what? We can also look at a safety here.
Ooh, Winston.
Got Winston, Ransom, Bowman, Reed, Castro. We did profiles on 4 of these 6.
That Matt says now takes C. Wilson.
C. Wilson.
Cedric?
What position?
I don't know.
Alfred Collins still there too.
Wow.
We already drafted a D tackle.
Sean, can you show us our picks that we've already picked?
We got Watts, Grant,
guys,
Jackson.
we can't go safety again. We can't. People. Erica says Ransom. I don't want. Do you want 2 safeties in this draft?
No, we don't.
No, because we already took a safety.
So we got Watts in the first round. Safety on Notre Dame.
Who's available on offensive line? We still need an offensive lineman. Not much.
Ooh, how about a center?
Erica says take Jared Wilson.
He's gone. But Jake Majors is still there, and so is Seth McLaughlin, man. Seth McLaughlin's a stud, too.
Hey, Sean, do you like Ohio State?
Never played more than 700 reps.
Guys, Dustin says it's time for a running back.
There aren't any good, man. Hey,
Scatterbo.
Dustin, how about Cam Scatterbo? I would be okay taking Ollie Gordon Jr. here, or the second.
226 isn't massive.
And it says he has some limitations. You guys got to remember, I mean, he was a Heisman Trophy finalist 2 years ago.
Well, Sean, they're saying he doesn't have breakaway speed. The guy the Bears are looking for in the draft is probably a bruiser anyway.
Then you want Michelle.
David Montgomery doesn't have breakaway speed.
This is the guy you want if you're looking for breakaway speed and explosiveness.
I'm saying they're looking for the opposite, right? Because the Bears don't have David Montgomery on the roster. They needed David Montgomery.
You're looking for a Scatterbo.
So Ollie Gordon might be the guy.
Right.
Oh, I got you. I mean,
Sean, can Ollie Gordon score a touchdown from the 2-yard line?
Probably.
We could probably get Ollie Gordon later, though.
Yeah, because we do have pick 102 and 148. So, I mean, worst case scenario, and I hate to be a homer, but RJ Harvey, who I absolutely love, is there, and so is Devin Neal at 207.
I love Devin Neal.
LeQuint Allen, I honestly believe, is going to carve out a role on an NFL roster somewhere. I don't know about the Bears, but I like LeQuint Allen a lot too.
Devin Neal might be one of the bigger sleepers in this draft.
Don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. I'd stay away from DJ Giddens, though.
Well, Erica says Gordon Tootin.
Michelle Tootin.
You're damn Tootin.
I mean,
9 fumbles.
Yeah, they said he has a problem holding onto the ball. It's one of his.
That's not like a little problem, though. That's a big fucking problem.
Let's see what else we got. Who we got to tackle? Who we got to
and by the way, we never mentioned it when we were talking about Fields, but he still has a turnover problem.
Sean, can you go to best players available? So just all.
How about? I mean, really quick. I guess we could still get this at center.
So go to all. See how they rank. Who have they ranked left? So they still.
Grady Sax Swinson is still there. Mason Taylor's up there. If you guys want a tight end, we can take him for shits and giggles.
Yeah, Dustin. So your best players available are Jalen Milroe, Braden Swinson, Emory Jones, Alfred Collins, Mason Taylor, Kyle Kennard, Kevin Winston Jr.
I think you would probably have to go Emory Jones there just for the value.
Yeah, Dustin agrees with you. Dustin agrees with you. He says Emory Jones.
All right, we're done. We'll do it.
Do it. Let's do it.
Emory Jones is the pick.
Emory Jones to the Bears.
I mean, if we're going to stick with our philosophy of you got to draft offensive line.
Now 102, if you want a tight end, Gunnar Helm is still there. 12 picks past.
Sean, then do it. You like that guy. You haven't made a pick yet. Pick him.
I like Gunnar Helm a lot. I just want to see who else is here really quick. Jack Sawyer's still there.
Farmer.
Oh, Jack Sawyer. I like Jack Sawyer.
I do too.
I like his name.
Farmer.
Who's the running back? Where are the running backs left?
Let's see.
Still any of the guys Gordon.
Get in Tootin. They're all still here. Let's see. What's our next pick after this? Why don't I see it up?
All right, from here out, guys, his name is Damn Tootin.
It's 148. I bet you we can grab a running back next after we grab someone here.
Dustin says he likes Sawyer. White Ghost, welcome to the chat, my friend.
Welcome to the chat, bud.
Says Jalen Travis is a slept on left tackle.
Ooh. Well, we just drafted a left tackle, so we can't take another one. We we can't go back.
We could, but
we could, but that doesn't make a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, so
hey,
we just drafted Emory Jones.
Explain your decision. Why is Jalen Travis such a sleeper?
You know, if we're looking at a wide receiver, Kyron Lacey is another guy I kind of like as well.
Well, LSU breeds wide receivers.
Sean, can you go down to Nick Nash's profile? I just want to see it.
Yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, I like Kyron Lacey. Who'd you say, Nick Nash?
Yeah, I just want to see his profile. I'm not saying draft him. Obviously, he's way down there. I've never got to see his profile on this thing.
Let me go to wide receiver. Nick Nash could be a guy we take with our next pick.
Nick Nash
got Restrepo already
in 2024, earning CFN's
right.
Wide Receiver of the Year, First Team All-American honors. Originally dual threat quarterback at San Jose State, Nash transitioned to wide receiver in 2022 and quickly became a key offensive weapon. Known for his speed, reliable hands, and slot versatility. And he's a slot receiver, Sean. He is projected as a day 3 pick in the 2025 NFL draft. His ability to read defenses and find soft spots in coverage makes him a dependable target. However, his long-term upside may be limited due to his advanced age as a 6th-year senior. His combination of football IQ, versatility, and production makes him an intriguing receiving prospect.
He's a 6th-year senior. He does not have a high IQ.
And we took Xavier Restrepo. A lot of these guys, though, that doesn't mean anything. A lot of these guys stayed to both.
Yeah, I mean, guys, this guy's been playing wide receiver for 2 years, and he had 16 touchdowns last year.
6th-year senior.
Yeah, I forgot that he took
Van Wilder. Get out of here.
He was a quarterback, though. Mass is asking you guys, if you were going to double dip on a position right now, what position would you choose?
Tackle, edge, wide receiver.
Offensive line, Ant Mass. Or D-line.
I mean, if we're looking for...
I agree, Justin. You can never have too many edge rushers.
That would be Dustin.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So Dustin is saying...
I mean, Jack Sawyer's still there.
Well, that's good. What's Jack Sawyer's?
I mean, we got 102 and 148. I'm either going edge or I'm taking Gunnar Helm. Edge or Gunnar Helm. That's my thought.
I think Devin Neal is still there, right? Too. So we might be able to hit him at 148.
Jason, some of these comments are for you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I'm 48. I've never heard that before.
Push off, Justin. All right. We just lost Sean.
No. Well, it might
Sean has left the building, guys. So that we're not going to be able to finish that. I'm assuming that draft is probably gone. Erica also said edge. I think edge is... Dustin says, bye, Felicia. I think edge was probably the
If you're
Would
going
have
to
been.
double up, you're going to double up on I think defense because they're probably safer bets, but it's an elite position. So if you can get yourself another good edge, I'm all for it. I think that, like I said earlier, I think we need 3 offensive and defensive linemen in the trenches. We've got guys that are veterans, that are winners, that are leaders. So now's the time to draft these guys if we can, to get these leaders, these veterans, to teach them how to play the way we want them to play.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
can never have enough offensive or defensive linemen, guys. Like we've talked about in this podcast for the last